I find the way that interpretation of cards changes pretty interesting. I don't always view, in fact, I frequently view the nines as not the happiest of cards. And yet, when we look at the day card for today, the Nine of Cups, we can't help but feel like wanting to celebrate. I mean, after all, even the style of the glasses or the cups reminds us of Valhalla, this celebratory place, this celebratory environment. And so I've kind of dealt with this for a while and have decided that it can still mean what we think it means, although we should always have an openness to changing interpretations when necessary, but that the context can make a big difference. And so I've always viewed the nines as being related to major change when we move toward the end of a phase or a cycle. Excuse me. And change doesn't have to mean catastrophic. It doesn't have to mean, destruction. It can and often does mean something happy. And where should this begin? Where should this start for us? Well, if we look more closely at the nine, we see all these surrounding elements or relationships or interactions. We've got one right in the center. Not to say that this makes you the center of the world, but in terms of your universe and your outlook, you do take a pretty central seat in that. So it starts with you. And it starts with your perceptions. Excuse me, got a bit of a cold. So, it does start with you, how you perceive the change at hand, and how you choose to react to it. Now, I do want to mention, I'll just throw in the Aleister Crowley card here. His rendition, he calls that a card of happiness, doesn't he? So definitely a good thing, although sometimes it takes getting through something catastrophic, something major and even painful, to get to this point. So when we see this card, we have to take into consideration not just the Nine of Cups, but what leads to it. We can learn some things from the other nines in the tarot, the different suits. For instance, the Nine of Swords doesn't look happy at all. It looks very painful. We see a tear coming from the eye in the center of that card. And that card, Mr. Crowley calls cruelty. We can get to a position like this starting out in this position. It takes excuse me, apologize. It takes some strength, which we find in the Nine of Wands, to gain that new perspective that we need in order to transform something like this into this. But you have to exercise caution, because could you think and perceive yourself and your internal environment right out of something like this into that. You absolutely could. And I dare say we probably all have. We've gotten a new job. A good thing, hopefully, and turned it into something we hate. We've also, hopefully, maybe had some difficult times at the end of a friendship or a marriage, and realized that it was for our better. It was for our own good, and that we can move forward now in ways that we hadn't thought before. It all comes down again to you and what you choose to do with the circumstances that come your way or that you create. Work with them, not against them. With that said, I'll let you get to thinking about where this card fits in your life. I appreciate you watching. I ask that you please subscribe. The channel doesn't get updated as often as I expect that it will as time progresses. But for right now, as it does, subscribing will make sure that you have regular notifications of those. For more frequent and daily updates, of course, you'll want to get involved with our Facebook and or Instagram accounts, which you'll also see in the description. I love conversation. I love discussion, so please leave some comments, leave some thoughts, let me know what you think, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time, folks, let this work as a theme in your day and keep transforming. Have a great day, folks.